gang. Welcome to Your Marriage Matters with Jim and Christie Jacobus. Our goal is to help you lay the foundation of building the marriage and life you both have always dreamed of. Welcome to Your Marriage Matters with Jim and Christie Jacobus.
Well, hey there, gang. It's Jim
and Christie
Jacobus with Your Marriage Matters podcast number 110. And babe, we're wrapping up a 5-part series on tough questions everybody ought to ask themselves to build a more successful marriage.
Right.
So you've been asking yourself all of these questions?
Well, some of the questions were tough because we were asking what's your strengths that you bring to the table and what your weaknesses. And sometimes self-reflection can be a little difficult to look in the mirror. So, and then rating yourself on how well you think you do with certain skills that are crucial in a marriage. That can always bring about some thought that you might be deficient and not doing stuff well. And I want to encourage everybody to say, this isn't a just because it's a important.
We said there were going to be tough questions.
Just because it's an important skill or question doesn't mean that necessarily you should beat yourself up over not being proficient at it. Everybody struggles. Everybody has a hard time with getting things right. We should forgive ourselves and give ourselves and our partner a lot of grace and latitude, because that's what we all need during certain times, especially when we're confronting those things that we need to get better at.
Yeah, I think that's what this series really should be about, is coming to the realization that, I've always got areas to grow in. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm asking you to grow, then I can look at that and go, yeah, but I'm not growing either. We just had a deal this week. We were working on something, and we were both struggling with different things. And rather than get on to each other about what you're struggling with, what I'm struggling with, we're going, look, we both have some challenges going on here. Let's just get shoulder to shoulder and deal with this stuff. Instead of me being upset with you or you being upset with me, look, hey, all right, Team Jacobus has got a problem. Right. Not just Christie or Jim. Team Jacobus has a problem. So we hope you look at it like that as far as this series has been concerned. And
this has been a season of tremendous change for us personally, but across the country. There's been a lot of things that are going on that it's just taking a lot of energy out of people, and sometimes we just need to give each other grace, and we just need to expect the best from other people.
Absolutely.
And so, with that being said, now's the...
Well, first things first. Okay, welcome. If you're here for the first time, too many times we just want to jump into this. We're glad you're here. We're glad you chosen the podcast. We encourage you to join us on our Facebook group, Your Marriage Matters. Join us on our website, yourmarriagematters.com, where we have lots of other resources and everything. But yeah, babe, we got this is the last question out of our series, so why don't you lay it on everybody?
Well, I think the reason why this is such an important question is because it challenges us to always improve and always get better.
Never ending.
So what is the most important thing I could do to make our marriage better? So what do you think when you hear that question?
Well, first thing is, that should be a question we're asking ourselves every day, twice a day, 4 times a day. It should be a never-ending process, because I believe, and I know you believe, that tomorrow, as amazing as our relationship is, we can do better. Mm-hmm. We both know we can do better, and the rewards of that we've seen through our marriage together now 33 plus years is that when we get serious about becoming the best version of ourselves and having the best version of Team Jacobus, it just keeps getting better. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could look back, how many times in our life could you go, it doesn't get any better than this? Mm-hmm. But it does.
It does.
And it does because I think we're both very, very, I'm going to use the word about this, is intentional about growth. Right. We don't let it happen to us haphazardly. Sometimes we go because life smacks us in the nose and we got to do something. But you and I are both very intentional about constantly learning and growing and getting better. And I just think that word intentional is why we should ask ourselves every day, what's something I can do today? What's something I can do for you today? What's something I can do to help you today? And again, just that intentionality says, you matter to me. That intentionality says, I matter to me. And that intentionality says, Team Jacobus matters to me. Mm-hmm. And here's what I do know. I can sit here right now and look at our toy hauler and where we're sitting and what we're doing and go, it doesn't get any better than this. But it does. And I know it will, because we're going to be intentional about that.
Right.
So what comes to your mind when you think about it?
Back to intentionality, too. I never want to take anything for granted.
But absolutely.
It's so easy to do, to take things for granted because you just assume they'll always be that way.
Yeah.
Your health. Until you get sick, do you really appreciate what good health is? And time is just going by so fast. And if we don't take time out to appreciate our spouse and ask the tough question of what I can do to make this better for them, then I think we're missing out. So I always want to be intentional, and I don't want to take things for granted, because like I said, time is just speeding by, and I want to make sure I'm making the most of the time that we have together and with other people. So you had asked me what I think is important, and I think it's important that we continue to learn and grow. We learn and grow together, from each other, with each other, throughout the process, that we're continually trying to say, what can we get better at? We had a conversation yesterday, because one of the things that happened in our busy lives is that cooking was just, okay, what's easy, what's convenient. Now that we have a different focus, what could we learn and grow through cooking that would, kind of add some variety, add some spice, if you will, to our marriage?
Ooh, I like it when you talk about adding spice to our marriage. That's...
With relationship to food. But what could we do that would be different, because we're growing and learning and trying different things? We will fail. And if we're going to fail, we're going to keep failing, and we're going to fail forward. We're going to learn from our experiences. We're going to learn from things that went well. We're going to learn from the recipes, if you will, that failed.
Yep.
Or
and that failed, and we can't eat it, we give it to Marley.
Yeah.
He'll eat anything.
No, we won't subject our poor yellow lab to that. But when we're learning and we're growing, it doesn't always have to be in matters of relational skills. It can be learning and growing in things that make us different, more vibrant people.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of our podcast has been how to build healthy and vibrant marriages. And unfortunately, most people don't seek help until they're in crisis.
Yeah.
They don't seek help until a major problem has erupted, or a problem continues that they can't handle. So I think to be able to continuously grow and learn, it's that preventative medicine you can use in your relationships that helps stave off maybe some of the crises. Crises and problems will occur. It's a given. And if you're constantly trying in the good times, or in the times where there's not a major crisis going on, then it gives you skills and reassurances during the major problems in life.
Yeah, and again, you said something there I think is really important. When it comes to health, we can be proactive, we can eat better, we can exercise, we can do all kinds of things. Yeah, sometimes we'll still get sick, but we make it less likely we're going to get sick. And it makes us more available to handle it, or more able to handle it when we do get sick. Well, marriage is no different. If we're constantly trying to grow, constantly trying to get better, we take a lot of problems out of the equation. Doesn't mean something's not going to happen to us, but when it does, we're fit together, knit together, prepared together to go after it shoulder to shoulder, whether it's my problem, your problem, the world's problem, something we didn't see coming, something we did see coming, something that happened to us, or something we created for ourselves. We're still far better able to handle it because we're both proactively, constantly trying to get better. And I think that's the deal. It's believing that our life together can be better, and believing that I can impact that.
Right.
That I alone can impact that.
Right.
And together, we have total control over that.
So while it sounds like it's a difficult question, it sounds like, what can I do to get better, to make this marriage better? It actually is a question of power.
Absolutely.
It's a question of strength.
Couldn't agree
I have
more.
the control to make my life better and different. I can't always control my situation, but to the degree that I can control my attitude about it too. So while it sounds like it's a difficult question, it can actually be one of real strength. And I know sometimes when I'm looking at self-evaluation, I just want to go, can I just rest and appreciate all that I've done? Rest for a while, but don't stop.
Yeah.
Don't stop in the growth.
I look at it this way. That nonstop, constant desire to get better actually means we don't have to spend the energy it takes to fix what went wrong.
Exactly.
So you can either, pay me now or pay me later. The old oil filter ad that used to be on. So you can either proactively fix it now and stem off challenges, or you can not do that and then spend your time fixing them whenever they come up. But, you gave me a T-shirt not long after we met because you got a quick glimpse of who I was and what you were dealing with. And it said, all I ever want is a little bit more than I'll ever have. You remember that? Remember getting me that T-shirt? I still remember. It's blue with gold lettering. All I ever want is a little bit more than I'll ever have. And part of that may sound like never satisfied or anything. That's not me. I'm always happy, never satisfied. And that means I just know we've got more. There's more for us. There's always going to be more for us. And in the days ahead, we're going to see amazing things and do amazing things. And, gang, we're going to be sharing that with you in a variety of ways. We got some new stuff coming. But, babe, I just like this question. And it is hard for people who are afraid of growth. It is hard for people who want to blame their spouse for their situation instead of owning their own. It is hard for people who were not taught that you're in control of your life and you can make it better by asking some tough questions, which is why we've done this series, is we wanted to challenge everybody. But, babe, I'm here to tell them, and I think you and I together are here to tell them that your life can be as amazing as you choose for it to be. And that will mean there's going to be some problems, but it's kind of like lifting weights. The more you get used to handling them, the more you get used to communicating better, like we talked about last week, the stronger you get, the more confidence you get, the more trust you have in each other. And that's when that relationship really starts to blossom and take on. I mean, we couldn't do what we're doing right now if we didn't have, work so hard to be able to be better communicators and problem solvers. We wouldn't have gotten where we're at right now.
Right. And so there is a bar that we're going to keep raising.
Absolutely.
So that we get the best that we can possibly be. And we talk about it a lot when we ask folks what are the 5 qualities that they see in a successful person. That way they can kind of, have something to strive for.
Yeah.
There should be stuff that we appreciate that we're already doing, but what do we need to get better at?
Right.
And so it's a constant improvement cycle. It's constantly looking at things, saying, how can I get better? Which, like I said, I'll admit myself, sometimes I just want to take a break from that.
Yeah,
but
I'll give you 5.
So, but it is one of the things that will make our marriages and our own personal values better.
Yeah, you've heard me say from the stage, and I'm going to add it here. As long as we're learning, we're living. The moment we stop learning is the moment we start to die. It has nothing to do with age.
Yes.
A lot of 20-year-old dead people out there stop learning when they got out of school, and they live long, slow, painful deaths in my mind. And I think there's marriages out there that, after that first year or two when you're in the honeymoon phase and what can I do, baby, and all that, people stop learning. They stop growing, and that marriage is slowly dying if it's not already dead. And we want to encourage you that marriage can be that vibrant, healthy marriage that you dreamed of when you said, I do. And, babe, I say this every week in some shape, form, or fashion. I am so blessed that you're constantly learning, constantly growing, willing to get together shoulder to shoulder with me and make Team Jacobus better. And it's one of the things that absolutely makes me adore you. So thank you so much for that.
And when you were saying about your constant striving to do better and everything, it's inspirational to others, not just me personally because I have the benefits of it, but you said it as a professional speaker and trainer. To share that with other people is an important, crucial message, and I'm just lucky that I get the day-to-day benefits of that, and I love you.
Thanks for joining us on this week's episode of Your Marriage Matters with the Jacobuses. If you have any questions you would like to see us answer or an idea for a future episode, please go to www.yourmarriage-matters.com/QIF and let us know. We will do our very best to make it happen. And if you enjoyed the podcast, we encourage you to share it with your friends that are engaged or seriously dating. We are growing like crazy because you are passing it on. So thank you. That's it for today. We'll see you next week on Your Marriage Matters. Have a great conversation this week.